This is lesson 1 of A Course in Miracles. I am actually going to be doing this lesson while we're on together, so I'm going to read it and then I'm going to go through it. And I'm posting this as a mechanism for you to do the Course in Miracles with me. We'll be going through it together at the same time, which is very exciting. So, lesson 1, part 1. Nothing I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place means anything. Or in this greenhouse. Now look slowly around you and practice applying this idea very specifically to what you see. For example, this table does not mean anything. This chair does not mean anything. This hand does not mean anything. This foot does not mean anything. This pen does not mean anything. Then look farther away from your immediate area and apply the idea to a wider range. That door does not mean anything. That body does not mean anything. That lamp does not mean anything. That sign does not mean anything. That shadow does not mean anything. Notice that these statements are not arranged in any order and make no allowances for difference in the kind of things to which they are applied. That is the purpose of the exercise. The statement should merely be applied to anything you see. As you practice the idea for the day, use it totally indiscriminately. Do not attempt to apply it to everything you see, for these exercises should not become ritualistic. Only be sure that nothing you see is specifically excluded. One thing is like another as far as the application of the idea is concerned. Each of the first 3 lessons should not be done more than twice a day, preferably morning and evening, nor should they be attempted for more than a minute or so, unless that entails a sense of hurry. A comfortable sense of leisure is essential. So nothing I see in this greenhouse means anything. This camera does not mean anything. This banana tree does not mean anything. That tub does not mean anything. That hay does not mean anything. That soil does not mean anything. That door does not mean anything. That passion fruit flower does not mean anything. That fish tank does not mean anything. That pot does not mean anything. That plant does not mean anything. That orchid does not mean anything. That fan does not mean anything. That Amazonian fruit plant does not mean anything. That bunny does not mean anything. That flower does not mean anything. That sage does not mean anything. That hand does not mean anything. That bunny statue doesn't mean anything. The shower does not mean anything. The pepper does not mean anything. The bunny food does not mean anything. That window does not mean anything. That goose does not mean anything. And I'll repeat that lesson tonight. Now, sometimes this initial idea of looking at things and saying they don't mean anything can feel painful. If it feels painful, don't strain yourself. Only do it as long as it instructs, about a minute. If it's easy, you can do it for longer. The idea here is we're touching on that the reality we think we're in is not as real as we think it is. That's really the idea here. Similar to the in Buddhism and Hinduism, it talks about reality being a dream and that pain comes from attachment, which is really thinking things are real. It really goes right along with this book. It's thinking everything's real and then being attached to it as being real. In Christianity, it would be, the Bible says that to not be of this world. And that's what it's touching on. It's saying that, this world isn't where you belong. This isn't your home. And the more you think it is and you believe in it, the more you're suffering. So you have to kind of start to withdraw all the belief and faith you put in it. We were created in God's image, which means that we're little creators. So the more faith and belief we put in this reality, the more real it becomes. And the more our true vision and true reality is blocked out from us because we're not aware of it. So this is just the initial part of pulling our perception, our current perception, from this reality so intensely and trying to start to open a path for a new way. Have a blessed day.